We are the anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. Bill Maher critiques Drag Queen Story Hour, defends Ron DeSantis, and challenges wokeness in his controversial show.
Documentary named Ahead of the Curve chronicles Franco Stevens' daring journey to create Curve, the pioneering lesbian lifestyle magazine.
RuPaul's Drag Race All-Star Season 9 features 8 iconic queens competing for a charity amount of $200,000 for the first time.
A thought-provoking study confirms that more older brothers is equal to higher chance of male homosexuality. Study also shows a similar trend in women. How come?
Key rulings such as Obergefell v. Hodges and Lawrence v. Texas advanced LGBTQ+ rights, but zombie laws like the one just passed by Arizona threatens the progress.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ+ daily evening television news broadcasting live and then available on demand. Available on all smart televisions, including Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. It's time to queer up the news for Wednesday, April 24th, 2024. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ+ evening news show. Whatever happens unique in LGBTQ+ news, you will see it and hear it.
HOTspots Magazine Out Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ+ community. Our mission is to support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ+ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of our queer culture, the Black community, Latino, lesbians and queer women, trans students, youth, seniors, HIV/AIDS, healthcare, business, social justice, and faith. Help us support our community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ+ nonprofit media companies in America, HOTspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network.
In 2024, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ+ experience, and our television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ+ and broader community.
That's right, Greg. Let's meet tonight's anchors at Queer News Tonight. We'll begin with Bonnie Builder. Yes, this beautiful diva herself. She is the premier South Florida bodybuilding drag queen and the current reigning Mixed Marys. A recent graduate of FIU, Bonnie Builder is a trainer and comes to life with a microphone and a spotlight. Look at her mugging that camera like only she can. Give it, Bonnie.
Yeah.
Bonnie, so the LGBTQ+ beloved Villain Theater is presenting The Freak Show, a late-night improv comedy show on April 27th. Tell me what's happening.
Well, if you love freaks like I do, then I will see you at the Villain Theater. So this is happening, like she said, on May 4th. It is from 10 to 11:30. If you enjoy comedy, if you enjoy improv, if you enjoy probably singing, if you enjoy tap dancing, I don't know what they do, but they do it all. And they will be at the Freak Show at the Villain Theater on May 4th at 10 p.m.
Sounds like a fun night for sure.
Yeah.
Next up, welcome anchor Cindy Brown. Cindy was an early organizer of the Miami AIDS Walk and the White Party for Care resource. She is the programs director for the Lambda Living program at Jewish Community Services, and she also served as the executive director of the MDGLCC Foundation. And let me be just one to tell you, happy Lesbian Visibility Week, Miss Beautiful
you.
Cindy Brown. You know that I adore you. So, honey.
Likewise.
Thank you, baby. So, Cindy, the Outshine Film Festival is all about the girls this weekend on April 27th with Women's Spotlight, including films Lesbian and Backspot. Tell me what's happening.
Well, Saturday night's the night to go to Outshine Film Festival, Miami edition. As Faye said, it's Lesbian night. So first at 5:15, the film, it's a documentary called Lesbian, which is actually about the Isle of Lesbos in Greek, which at one point was a mecca for lesbians. And the documentary goes through how, you know, they really loved going to that island and celebrating all who they are in naked form. And the community wasn't so thrilled with that. So it's a documentary about how that went over. That's at 5:15. Right after that, at 7:15, there's a film called Backspot. Now, Backspot is a fun gymnastics, cheerleading, and lesbians all together in a film. And the film is actually executive produced by Elliot Page. And immediately after that film is the after party at the Axel Hotel on South Beach. Well, there'll be light bites and Tito's vodka. So, ladies, come join me. I will definitely be there.
Listen, Cindy, and we have to say that, ladies, gentlemen, theys and thems all come out for the women's spotlight, right? Because the boys are having their spotlight on the same day, and then the after party, everybody will be together. But let me not forget to tell people that you can get there for free using Uber.
And also,
so good to not have to park your car.
Right, and Jewish Community Service is the community sponsor for Lesbia. So, and this is good for any ticket in the Outside Film Festival. If you use the promo code, all capital letters, OUTJCS, OUTJCS, no spaces, you'll get a ticket discount.
I love that. Thank you, Miss Cindy. OutshineFilm.com, all right, for all your tickets. Next up, let's welcome TriniDaddy. This artistic talent is a violinist and a pianist with the Miami City Ballet and is a program director for the Seminole Theater's Players in Homestead. Welcome back, Trini. So, Trini, a fun event is coming to the Manor called Dancing with the South Florida Stars May 13th. Tell me what's happening.
Well, we have our own little gay Dancing with the Stars here in Wilton Manors at the Manor. We have 10 celebrity couples. One of them may or may not be Velvet Lenore and Tony Lima. Maybe not sure. Not sure who the other 9 couples are, but you should come out. It's a wonderful event, and it's to raise money for Stonewall Pride, which we all want to go out and have a great time with. So come on out.
I love that. Next up, let's welcome Gregg Shapiro, an inductee into the Chicago LGBT Hall of Fame. Gregg is the author of 2 short story collections and 7 books of poetry. He's an entertainment journalist whose celebrity interviews and reviews run in a variety of print and online publications. Gregg, with 2 G's. An interesting new museum called Mad Arts in Dania Beach is presenting Say Adams, 40 Years of Art and Design, and the exhibit is running through May 26th. Tell me what's happening.
Okay, Say Adams' Departure, 40 Years of Art and Design is a retrospective exhibition of the work of iconic visual artist and prolific graphic designer Say Adams at Mad Arts, which is on Federal Highway in Dania Beach. It's there through May 26th. Adams was a contemporary of queer artists Keith Haring and Jean-Michel Basquiat, and hip-hop fans may recognize some of the album covers he did, designed for Mary J. Blige, Foxy Brown, Jay-Z, and Public Enemy when he was at Def Jam. It's a fascinating exhibition, well worth seeing.
And of course, this is tonight's lead anchor, FayWhat. She is a legendary events host, television and radio personality, and the host of the FayWhat show on Mondays. Faye, the Pride Center at Equality Park is hosting the FBI Active Shooter Awareness Training for LGBTQ plus community safety on May 7th. Tell me, what's happening?
Trini and everybody at the table and everybody watching at home, nobody wants to talk about the possibility of an active shooter situation happening around us, right? But it's something that needs to be reminded of, addressed, and prepared for. So join the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Florida, the FBI, and the Pride Center at Equality Park for an LGBTQ plus community training on how to prevent and respond to an active shooter situation. The FBI field office will present training focused on the run, hide, and fight concept, awareness of your surroundings, developing a personal security plan, lessons learned, and steps to improve response to these incidents. It's all happening Tuesday, May 7th at 6 p.m. to 7:45 at the Pride Center at Equality Park, Schubert Building, Main Hall. Please register at pridecenterflorida.org/activeshooter. We are the reporters for Queer News Tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast. And here are the bullet points of the queer news for today, Wednesday, April 24th, 2024. First, let's begin this evening by queering up students and youth culture. Bill Maher criticizes drag queens, standing by Republican Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Don't anticipate seeing Bill Maher as a guest on RuPaul's Drag Race anytime soon. Following his Friday night new rules, it's safe to assume he would be swiftly dismissed with a sachet away. The controversial talk show host defended Republican Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and drew parallels between Drag Queen Story Hour and the protection of children. In this week's episode of Real Time with Bill Maher, the 68-year-old targeted Nickelodeon and Disney, citing the explosive Quiet on Set documentary for failing to safeguard its young stars. Maher argued that it was the responsibility of every adult to protect them, and Governor DeSantis' actions to address creepy stuff at Disney were not entirely unfounded. Maher delivered into the controversy surrounding Drag Queen Story Hour and whether it's suitable for children. He boldly asserted that it's time to acknowledge that these events are for the drag queens rather than the educational benefit of the children. He asked, quote, "Sure, kids love a clown, but does the clown have to have tits?" End quote. He then went on to slam wokeness, saying it is not an extension of liberalism anymore. In his words, quote, "Teaching kids not to hate or judge those who are different, great. Proud we got there, all for that. But at a certain point, inclusion becomes promotion," end quote. Maher has been an avid supporter of LGBTQ plus civil rights, but has also been an active critic of how far we take wokeness. You know, I saw Bill Maher's rant, and that's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it a rant. He was delusional for about 8 minutes there. I don't understand why we were listening to a white cisgendered man who has not been married and has no children to tell me about how to take care about children, right? You know, I did see on the set, right? What that's
Quiet on Set.
Quiet on the Set. I did see it, and honestly, you know, the creepy predators that were lurking were all also white cisgendered older men that were doing this. Okay. You know, Bill, I don't understand how you could even confuse or even put in the same category clowns with drag queens, okay? And then that's a whole other set of crap to talk about, because for this person, I'm deathly afraid of clowns and I run towards drag queens. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a lot to unpack here. What are you thinking, Miss Bonnie?
Okay, so to anybody at this table who aligns their views with Bill Maher, let me just remind you who this creature is. He's the white dude that regularly says the N-word, casually. He's also the dude that has defended Woody Allen. So this is where he aligns himself with. He is not as liberal as he thinks he is. He is more of like the cool conservative, which is something that he's trying to not really align himself with that title, but that's basically what he is. He's like, I'm conservative, but like I'm like cool. I'm like the cool uncle with it. So I think it is absolutely disgusting to align predators from this documentary that were proven predators with drag queens who want to be a part of their community. Again, we are dealing with an issue of people dehumanizing drag queens as if we are not people that want to participate in our community. If my drag allows me to read to children, I would never want to, not a big fan of kids, but if my drag allows me to do that, why can't I read to the children? Right. What's wrong with tits? Right. Are you saying drag queen with tits is different than a woman with tits reading to children? Like what's the problem?
Women can't be clowns.
Right. Women can't wear wigs and extra lipstick and read to the children. Like where do you draw the line with drag queens?
Yeah.
Sir?
I would also like to see one case where a true drag queen, a performer, was arrested for being inappropriate with a child.
Has there been a case?
I don't know.
Yes, but not in the context of the drag story hour. It's when they failed to do background checks. And
okay, well, that's different. But, you know, I mean, legitimate performers are performers.
Right.
Yeah. And again, most drag queens, like Bonnie, don't want to be anywhere near kids. And have no problem not ever reading one story time hour.
What would he say about Mrs. Doubtfire? I would love to know his response.
Well, Maher has now officially completed his transition to grumpy old white conservative. And in the same way that Geraldo Rivera went from liberal hippie journalist, remember this, Cindy? Early in his career, to a kookier conservative later, Maher is following in his footsteps. And I think Maher continues to lose his credibility as he does this.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
And now we're ready for Trini's version of. Let's see what Trini says. Trini. So folks at home, in the past, Trini has said that drag queens, that there's no space for a place with kids and drag queens to be a part of that. So
Wait, you're saying I said that?
You've said something to that effect?
No.
Okay, go.
Okay. So yeah. So back to the topic though of Bill Maher. So Bill Maher was more of a liberal, and then he has been transitioning into kind of what Bonnie was saying, more of like the cool conservative, right? I think, I don't know why he was even putting Ron DeSantis into this conversation, or like doing these little
Disney, Trini.
Right, but that's not even what Ron DeSantis' issue was with Disney, the corporation, because of the whole thing with Florida. It had nothing to do with protecting children or anything like that. So I think the larger point that he's been making for the past 4 or 5 years is that when you get to what we call the liberal group, maybe the far left group, when they've come up with how many genders, how many this, whatever, all these different labels, what his point has been for years is that you can believe what you want, but don't try to force it on other people. And for that, I agree with him. I think everybody is entitled to kind of have their own idea of what sexuality is. And the moment you start demonizing, and I think our community, especially what I call the elite gay community, which is everybody here, the people who are most...
We're the A-list, baby.
Exactly. And I'm not saying that in a derogatory manner, because you're the people who are doing the most in helping the community. You're organizing the pride events. You're at the drag shows. You're supporting everything. But you all have a unique reality that the majority of gay America does not have. And you reported last week that, and I don't know if the study is how accurate it is, but you reported that 22% of gay Americans had a favorable view of Trump and the Democrat and the Republican
Party. It wasn't Americans. It was under a study. Yeah.
Right. So that's 22% that are kind of in this far right area. Where do you think the rest of of gay America is? So my point is that the people who are doing the most, bravo. But when we start demonizing everybody and saying you have to believe this and you have to believe in all of this, especially in the absence of all the clinical studies, like, we need to be a little bit kinder and a little bit more understanding to people who don't have the same viewpoint as we do.
And you don't think that he was demonizing drag queens?
I don't.
In the same breath?
I think that he took it a little bit too far, because he gets a lot of hate from our community now, saying that Bill Maher is a liberal guy. He does not care who people sleep with. He does not care about drag queens or anything like that. He just doesn't like the idea that everybody gets into his face about what you're supposed to believe.
Trini, in the context of this story, he equated us to those who were master manipulators and sex offenders in the documentary Quiet on Set, and that is wholly offensive.
I understand.
Find me a drag queen who has done what these freaks and creeps have done, and I will say I see your point of view. At this point, I do not see your point of view. I do not see Bill Maher's point of view. He is being very dangerous with his platform, with the words that he is using. He's had it for a very long time. He should know better. Bill, you should know better than to say some stupid ass fucking shit.
And I agree with that. If you watch the whole interview with him, he does show a clip, which I do not believe is the totally accurate, but he shows that some kids were at a drag show who were actually tipping. And so when it comes to those kinds of things, with it says this isn't going to lick itself, or this pussy isn't going to, I don't know if I can say that. We'll lick itself. Whatever. Like, those things I agree with, and that's what he's looking at, which is what the conservative talking points are. But I don't think that he actually has a problem with a normal drag queen story hour.
Okay. And the video that he showed was a kid with his parent at a drag queen story hour. It wasn't like the kid just decided to randomly be at a drag
Of course,
queen.
no.
It wasn't a drag queen who took a child into their home and then inappropriately touched them like the people who in that documentary did.
And I agree,
drag
it
queen
shouldn't
at
have been
work.
conflated. But I'm just saying that's what I think his point it was.
Good point.
Okay, well, now let's move on to queering up lesbian culture. Ahead of the Curve is finally on Netflix, a perfect watch for Lesbian Visibility Week. More than 3 decades ago, long before the public came out for Melissa Etheridge and Katie Lang, the rise of lesbian chic and mainstream brands embracing pride, Franco Stevens conceived an ambitious plan. Her vision was to introduce the first glossy lifestyle magazine tailored for lesbians. Initially named Deneuve, and I had many copies of that magazine upon its establishment in 1990, the magazine underwent a name change following a legal dispute with French actress Catherine Deneuve. The documentary Ahead of the Curve delves deep into the origin story of this groundbreaking magazine. Through insightful interviews with key figures such as Stevens, Etheridge, the first major celebrity featured on their cover, poet Joelle Gomez, and actress, singer, comedian Leah Delaria, the documentary provides a comprehensive look at the magazine's evolution and impact. Ahead of the Curve, co-directed by Jen Rainin and Rivka Beth Meadow, initially premiered in 2020. The documentary marked its Netflix debut this week, coinciding with the start of Lesbian Visibility Week. It is a must-watch.
Please welcome our panel of Power Dykes, Frances Stevens, publisher and editor-in-chief of Deneuve, the hottest lesbian magazine.
There wasn't a glossy magazine for lesbians anywhere.
She decided, I'm gonna make one. That's total rock and roll.
I love my job. I love my job. I love my job.
Whoever was in Curve, like that was it. That's how you knew what was going on.
Like the latest musicians,
in terms of, like,
the latest artists.
Yeah.
It was very hard to be out and open in the late 80s.
I think we should do away with gays if possible.
We did not see ourselves represented in any positive mainstream way.
I was the one that was supposed to start this magazine.
She got the idea and then she's just like, oh my God, I need money.
So I just applied for a bunch of credit cards all on the same day. I just cashed them all in.
And there they come.
My horses came in first and second. At the end of the day, I had enough money to start the magazine.
You know what the difference is between parsley and pussy? What, Franco? I don't know. I don't eat parsley.
When the magazine put me on the cover, it allowed women in our own community to see a well-spoken, funny, intelligent, charming, gentlemanly butch, which is basically who I am, unless you cross my f***ing path.
Just the power of seeing me.
In the last 24 hours, I heard this thing that I never wanted to hear, that the magazine could be coming to an end.
We live in a systemic, racist, sexist, anti-LGBTQ world, and we have to fight it every day.
We want the place at the table we deserve.
Visibility looks like us being able to be the authors of our own experience.
Every time we put out a magazine, it felt groundbreaking.
What's happening here right now is Franco's legacy.
Now, I was one of the lucky ones that saw it when it first came out. I was also there when Deneuve magazine first launched, and let me tell you, we were excited about it. There wasn't anything else like that for the lesbian community. And when this lawsuit with Catherine Deneuve was going on, so many of us were just so upset, and we couldn't understand why she was allowed just because it was her name. I mean, it could have been any other word, but Curve survived. I have the utmost respect for Franco. She has been through hell and back, and she really is a warrior and a fighter. And I encourage even the guys, I really encourage you to, especially since it's on Netflix now, I encourage you to see it. I enjoyed it, and it, it brought back memories to me, because that was kind of my, when,
Yeah.
Well, if I
was
remember,
in my
I remember
30s
correctly,
back then.
that Deneuve, they named it Deneuve because
of a movie,
The Hunger, where
right.
With David Bowie
Right.
and Susan Sarandon, and Catherine Deneuve played a lesbian vampire in the
Right.
movie.
Okay.
And it was really just, it was kind of a compliment to her in a way, so it did seem weird that she sued. Also, it's interesting too, because I think that Curve arrived, or Deneuve at the time, because Out wasn't really representing
Exactly. Yeah.
women the way it should have been. Well, the Advocate was more. The Advocate did it a little more, but Out was supposed to be like the new monthly
Not enough
glossy,
for us.
right? Not even close. Yeah.
No. But I'm saying, like, exactly what you're saying. Like, just growing up in the 90s and just knowing that I was different, knowing that I was gay already, right? Not being out, but just knowing it, right? And I looked for a publication that would give me some kind of indication. You know, we didn't have Google to go to, right? So the Advocate and Out and all those things were so male dominated, you know? Like maybe a lesbian story here and there. But when Curve came out, it was like, wow. There's a publication all about us from beginning to end, you know, and unfortunately because of that, people thought that its demise was likely, and here we are decades later. You know, I've been blessed to be in Curve a couple times when I lived in New York City and when I did the Dyke March and stuff like that, and they really do cover everything. And in this day and age where everything is digital and everybody gets their information online, the fact that they've still outlived many other publications that have tried to do what they're doing is awesome. And I love me a documentary. Like, how cool is that we get to find out about our history? Our history is being erased at every corner, you know? So we need to like really depend on documentaries like this to really find out whose shoulders we're standing on.
On Saturday too, this will give us, there is a lot of lesbian history and culture, but it gets erased. Because the gay male culture is so dominant.
Is it more overshadowed than erased? I mean, it's
overshadowed, but I think as younger people are not identifying themselves as lesbians, or they don't like to use that word. I love the word lesbian. So when people say, "Ooh, but that word," I'm like, "What do you mean that word?"
Yeah.
And to have these kinds of things documented, I think it's a fear of a lot of the older women who I work with a lot in my work with LGBT seniors, that you hardly hear lesbian anymore.
Well, you tell them you're a proud ass lesbian.
I used to be a tomboy, but now I'm a full-grown lesbian.
I also want to ask all the gay men out there, you may feel like this film isn't for you because you can't relate to it, but it's moments like these where you get the chance to watch documentaries of like the lesbian journey, especially in the 90s, to help not really close the divide, because there's been a divide with lesbian and gay men culture for a very long time. But these are the baby steps you take. Learn from their side, hear their voices, see what they've gone through that you were probably blissfully unaware of because you're over here get your ass what's the 90s gay bar?
Coliseum.
Getting your ass ate at Coliseum. And they're going through this. Absolutely not. Like, I implore you gay men to just like watch the documentary, hear their voices. Lesbians, I know a lot of them, they love us. They just stay at home. So
not all stay at home. Okay?
This one does.
Okay, that one does. This one doesn't. But it is Lesbian Visibility Week, so conversations like this are super important. The fact that a lot of Gen Zers, right, don't know that lesbians were the ones helping the gay men during the AIDS epidemic. Okay, lesbians were the ones at the side of the hospital beds. All right. The divide happened after that somewhere, you know, and we've got to figure out how to get that divide closed up, because without each other, and that means all the acronym, we're fucked.
Right.
You can quote me on that.
We gotta come together. Next, let's queer up drag culture. RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars Season 9 cast will compete for charity. Paramount Plus and World of Wonder have unveiled the highly anticipated Season 9 cast of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars, marking a milestone in the show's history. The lineup features esteemed alumni from the iconic franchise RuPaul's Drag Race, from the first season to the recently concluded Season 14. Notably, this season of All-Stars deviates from its traditional format, featuring only 8 queens. The contestants are poised to compete for a grand prize of $200,000 and a significant sum of the world of drag competitions. However, there is a twist. According to the official statement, the prize money will be donated to a charity chosen by the winner. The generous donation is made possible through the Palette Fund, a philanthropic organization dedicated to promoting positive social change in under-resourced communities. The highly anticipated Season 9 of All-Stars is set to premiere on May 17th, exclusively on Paramount Plus. Hosted by RuPaul and produced by World of Wonder, the season kicks off with a special 2-episode premiere. Fans can expect a weekly dose of glamour and drama as the new episodes air every Friday along the companion series RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars Untucked. The queens for All-Star Season 9 include Angeria Paris Van Michaels, Gottmik, Georges, Nina West, Plastique Tiara, Roxy Andrews, Chanel, and Vanessa Vanjie Mateo. So it goes without saying, I'm a huge fan of this show, RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars. I was shocked that they announced it so soon because, like, literally the motherboard ship show, RuPaul's Drag Race, just ended on Friday.
Yeah, like the
and
other day.
we got the announcement on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So also, I want to say kudos to Nymphia Wynn. Very proud of you. I think you deserved it. We love you so much. But I am very excited for the show. There are some queens on there that I'm huge fans of.
What's your favorite? If you had to pick one.
Oh,
I know it's hard. If you had to pick just one.
Gottmik, because her promo look was so fucking fierce. The black and white impact with like the sculpted hair.
Oh,
Gottmik, homie, you, bruh, look at it. Gottmik, you look sick.
They look amazing.
And that's
They
all
look
real.
amazing.
Talented makeup artist, talented fashionista. Just like, I think they're gonna go very, very far.
I think they make their own clothes too. I mean, a lot of these girls make their own outfits, which is also like just huge, ginormous, amazing. I'm surprised that they're giving away their money to charity. I'm sorry to be that girl, right?
Yeah.
But I think they're getting some kind of kickback. They're getting something. The small print in that contract, they're getting 50 G's or something.
They gotta
no
match
way.
it, yeah.
You know what I mean? There's just no way that they're just gonna go, sure, I will work this hard for $200,000 and give it away.
Right.
You know,
because we're all good people, but imagine every season prior to yours, they won the money.
Yes.
But when it gets to your season, hey, what you win goes to charity.
You
But
know,
if they're all-stars, haven't they already won something?
they've already won something.
They've got some financial...
Not really, not really.
Or not.
Or been
They're
a
not all
runner-up.
winners.
Or
They're not
been a
all
runner-up, so they're not winners. So
Yeah.
that's not. It's
Some
not
are
fair.
losers. A lot of losers.
And your costume, you're a lot of them. Your costume,
A lot of losers.
wigs, everything that you're bringing is
you have to pay
pure
for it.
expense.
Yeah. Right.
You know, this is thousands and thousands of
Well,
dollars. these
hopefully
girls
they
are
are
bringing.
getting compensated.
They've got to be getting something.
RuPaul got it. We
It's
seen
not
her
like
house.
all these girls are rich.
No, but most of
exactly.
the but these girls are beautiful. Like I can't wait to see like
A lot of them
Vanjie
are.
out there
Shooting
going
ain't
against
cheap.
Georges. I mean, Georges is like
Georges, the lipstick
ridiculous. Like,
assassin. She ain't got all her joints are rubber and liquid. Like she ain't got a hard bone in her body. I swear to God.
The only thing I was thinking was that maybe RuPaul was like, you know what? I don't want to have to pay all this money. Let me partner with a charitable organization.
That when
And let's
tax
just try to
comes.
exactly.
that part.
The IRS.
Also, speaking of drag queens and Disney, Nina West is known as like the Disney drag queen. She shows up to all the Disney events. She goes to Disney World all the freaking time. She's one of the queens that you would find reading to children at a story hour, assuming she can read. So I'm happy that she's also on this season to sort of speak on that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
She ain't got the best. She's a great person.
but she got the best what? She got the best what?
She's not the
Next, let's queer up the USA view.
Take it.
A study in the Netherlands reconfirms link between birth order and being gay. A colossal study in the Netherlands has solidified the long speculated correlation between men being gay and having other older male siblings. The New York Post revealed that Scott Simonina, a university professor, emphasized this linkage, citing its documentation across Canada, the United States, and several other nations, including Mexico, Brazil, Turkey, and Samoa. According to Simonina, the fraternal birth order effect, recognized since the 1990s, suggests that men have approximately a 33% higher likelihood of being attracted to men for each older brother they have. The cumulative nature of the effect is notable. The more older brothers an individual has, the greater the impact. For instance, having one older brother increases the probability of being gay to around 2.6%, in contrast to the 2 to 3% probability observed in the general population. NPR further noted that with 5 older brothers, the chance of being gay reaches about 8%, quadrupling the baseline probability. The recent groundbreaking study in the Netherlands, with an astonishing 9 million participants, has reaffirmed previous observations and introduced a new dimension to the findings. Jan Kabatek, one of the study's authors from the University of Melbourne, disclosed to NPR that the extensive research demonstrated a similar association for women. Women in same-sex marriages were also more likely to have older brothers compared to other types of siblings. Well, I was reading this study. This is kind of old news from other studies, even though this study is new now. But I remember my brother saying something this to me, my conservative Trumper brother. Older, about 10 years. And I remember these rumblings he would be whispering to other people, that's why Trini's gay. It's because, he's the whatever, something. And now I would love to say to my mother, who was not the most accepting of me being gay, that it's both of your fault.
Exactly.
All right?
Always blame
You should have never been born. And then I would have come out straight. So
I'm laughing because my mom is not the most supporting either. So I constantly will tell her, that the gay gene comes from the mom, right?
Yeah.
You're the reason why I'm gay.
For sure. Always blame the mom.
But this study does make sense in essence. You know what I mean? Like, again, I am the oldest of 4 and I am the only gay one. Supposedly,
but
right?
You're the oldest.
But I'm the oldest.
Yeah.
So you give somebody a different look at a different way of life that maybe they're not, right? So they would probably consider it more having an older sibling that is gay.
Right. Well, I'm also the oldest, so it doesn't really apply. But
At this table.
when I hear this, wow, okay.
in this city.
He'll get over it.
I'll be okay.
Give him a second.
But I just keep thinking, I should have taken statistics classes in college. Then I could do like gay studies too. That'd be like all these percentages. I missed out. I really missed out.
Yeah.
I will say that my sister has a gay older brother and I have a gay younger sister. So I don't know the math on that, but the more kids you pop out, the more likely
Right?
you get.
Yeah.
And then it'd be these conservative families. I want like a tribe of children and then get shocked when one of them's like not like hetero bro or hetero sis. Like, what you think gonna happen? Look at the numbers. The likelihood of one of them being a queer
Statistics.
gets higher the more children you have.
Yeah.
Right.
So get off of her and you'll be all right.
Well, they speculate that there might be some kind of protein that is inhibited once a woman gives birth to a male. That's why it doesn't develop in the other males or something like that.
So I'm a lesbian, but my younger sister didn't catch it because I sucked all that up.
But the thing is, obviously, this is not a perfect study. There's a lot more research to be done.
But 9 million people is a nice
that's
amount
a
of money.
lot.
Right. What the good thing is to say, look, there are other factors that we need to be considering besides that, and so we need to do research. And for conservative people, just know there are. It's not our fault.
Of course,
we're God's children too.
And it's not cut and dry.
Exactly.
It's not cut and dry, and there's not enough stats on all of that.
And ain't nothing wrong with it. I'm gay.
That's right.
Yeah.
Next, let's queer up the USA View. Will zombie laws be used to strip LGBTQ plus rights, including marriage? In 2015, the Supreme Court's landmark ruling in Obergefell v. Hodges secured the right to marry for same-sex couples, marking a significant milestone in LGBTQ plus rights. Similarly, the pivotal decision in Lawrence v. Texas decriminalized gay sex, further advancing equality and justice. This week, the Arizona Supreme Court approved the enforcement of an old law banning nearly all abortions, with no exceptions for rape or incest, and only allowing procedures when the mother's life is at risk. Dating back to 1864, the law threatens prosecution for doctors performing abortions, overturning a previous exemption for abortions up to 15 weeks. While the law was blocked by Roe v. Wade's nationwide decision in 1973, its enforcement was reinstated following the overturning of Roe v. Wade in 2022, leaving Arizona subject to strict abortion restrictions. In almost every state, so-called zombie laws persist. Though never repealed, these outdated statutes were either invalidated or overshadowed by newer laws or court rulings. Just as Roe v. Wade struck down abortion bans, Obergefell v. Hodges secured nationwide same-sex marriage equality. However, future reversals of such landmark LGBTQ plus rights decisions could resurrect these zombie laws, potentially worsening conditions for LGBTQ plus individuals in certain states. For example, if the Supreme Court uses the same standard they used on Roe and follow Clarence Thomas's arguments of sending it back to the states, marriage would become illegal in Florida because of a zombie law. And this is exactly what the LGBTQ plus fears would happen if the hatred towards the community continues. Let me begin by expressing my gratitude to Arizona for making Florida look good for a change. Thanks, AZ.
Good job.
Second, it's fitting that Clarence Thomas, who bears a striking resemblance to a zombie, would be evil enough to invoke such a law.
Wow. My only question is, can a zombie conduct an abortion?
Well, I also have a question, because the state of Florida, our courts validated gay marriage in Florida before the national
For the ruling, yeah.
for the ruling. So, I mean, it mentions that if that Supreme Court ruling or whatever was overturned, we have a Florida state court that already granted these are our Equality Florida and the NCLR, our friends Todd and Jeff Del May, and some other folks were the first people that got married in Florida.
Yes,
because
my
a
reverend
judge
and his husband were one of the
right,
couples,
exactly,
whatever it was.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and so that happened in the courts in the state of Florida.
Okay.
So I'm not certain that it would automatically be overturned, because the courts already said in Florida that.
But we worried, Cindy. But we still worried.
Well, that's
Cindy, okay.
like
I
15 states.
You know, I've got a lawyer
Right.
friend who has said that.
Yeah.
Who has said that because that was put in place, we would just be grandfathered in, kind of deal, blah blah. But I mean, you know, do we trust the world that we're in right now? Anything could change at any time.
And if we're
you know?
grandfathered in, does that prevent future marriages from
No,
stopping?
and that's what I mean. Yeah, great
right.
that we're grandfathered in,
Yeah,
but
right.
how about, you know, Trini, then there's no chance for Trini to get married, or no
Well,
chance for Bonnie to get married.
in the state of Florida.
I'll leave it alone.
Okay,
Leave it alone, Bonnie.
Yeah.
Wait till the next segment.
That's not the only
of,
hindrance, but go ahead.
You know, I mean,
Right.
that sucks for them.
Absolutely.
It's just any of the states that have, prior to Obergefell, that had kind of like the DOMA thing, which was like the domestic partnership, and you know, any of those laws that were in effect before Obergefell, you know, was the law of the land. All of those will be then triggered back. So then they would immediately become illegal if Obergefell was overturned. And Clarence Thomas did say he wanted to look at that again, and so did the other justice. I don't know. I mean, it's something we should keep on our radar. I don't know if it's something for us to be like a little too worried about right now. We have some other fish to fry.
Keeping people
before
alive
there.
are much more important.
But I think we're okay for right now.
But, you know, but I think that every LGBTQ plus person has that in the back of their head, Trini. You know what I mean? And it's
Right.
something that we've been carrying along since Trump. You
I
know,
also
kind of
think-
like
Take this ring off my finger, bruh.
any second, you know. I mean, it's just a scary thought. That's
I also
taken
think
away.
that we are, maybe this is my optimism, but that I feel like we're reaching a point where all of that overreach by the government, even the Republicans
back.
are like,
Swing
wait a
back.
second.
Yeah.
Because even Carrie Lake with the abortion
Right.
in Arizona, she's like, I'm not
that's a
really
little
on
too
board
far.
with that. That's too far.
Yeah.
And I think that the pendulum is swinging back in the other direction of like, get out of our lives, get out of our,
Right.
and let's actually be Republicans again, because that's the Republican, you know,
Exactly.
way we should be.
Folks, as a nonprofit LGBTQ plus media organization, we would like to thank our viewers, that's you, for supporting our mission to tell the stories of the queer community. We'd also like to thank the generous support of Jets Pizza. Jets is the LGBTQ plus community's most popular pizza in South Florida.
Take a look around these streets. Do you really think we woke up one day and said, yeah, the world needs more pizza? Nah, just a better one. Better, like the world's best pizza, Jet's Detroit-style pizza. Hand-pressed and baked to the thickest, crispiest crunch. You're welcome. Now visit jetspizza.com and save. Click on hot deals for special offers in your area. Jets, better because it has to be.
Next, we are proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out Television Studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral Sunday International Service at 10:30 a.m.
finish tonight's Queer News headlines with a segment we call LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News.
LGBT plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up lesbian culture. TV show Cleat Cute on queer soccer romance by Megan Rapinoe and Sue Bird. Soccer power couple Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe are set to bring a heartwarming queer romance to the small screen with their new project, Cleat Cute, adapted from Merrill Weissner's best-selling novel of the same name. The scripted series follows a rookie soccer player who finds love in her team captain. The series will be produced under their banner, A Touch More, in collaboration with Future Shack Entertainment. The show will be executive produced by Windsor, Bird, Rapinoe, and A Touch More's head of development, Camille Bernier-Green, teaming up with Team Sports Media and commerce company Together X. Bird and Rapinoe founded A Touch More to champion diverse narratives.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up the worldview. Around 700 users sue Grindr for allegedly sharing their HIV status. In a legal battle shaking the UK, over 670 Grindr users are suing the app for allegedly sharing private information without consent. Accusations include divulging sensitive data like ethnicity and HIV status to third parties for profit. Grindr denies the claims, but this isn't the first time such concerns have surfaced. The lawsuit filed by Austin Hayes in London's High Court claims that sharing took place between 2018 and 2020. The alleged recipients of the data were analytics companies Optimize and Localytics. The plaintiffs are collectively seeking £100,000, which is around $123,000.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Art explosion at HOTspots Happening Out Art Gallery with Dennis Dean on May 4th. HOTspots Happening Out Art Gallery with Dennis Dean in association with Arts United is set to ignite the art scene with Art Explosion. The juried art exhibition promises $1,000 in cash prizes, enticing art enthusiasts to vote for their favorite works. Hosted by the incomparable Joe Poza as Joan Rivers, the event will also feature live art demonstrations by acclaimed artist Sergio Cabrera. Mark your calendars for May 4th and get ready for an evening of creativity, celebration, and recognition. This year is Arts United's 25th anniversary, and the event provides complimentary refreshments from Union Cafe and a complimentary open bar. Further details on the gallery and other interesting events are available in HOTspots magazine's new issue, which will be out Thursday.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up entertainment. Marvel debut of non-binary actor Emma Corrin in Deadpool and Wolverine trailer. Non-binary actor Emma Corrin joins the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the latest trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine. Corrin portrays the villainous mutant Cassandra Nova, Charles Xavier's evil twin sister, in the new Marvel Studios comedy. The trailer of the movie is out already, and it teases an action-packed and comedic showdown as Deadpool and Wolverine team up to thwart Nova's world-threatening plans. Corrin is a talented actor and has been nominated for an Emmy and won a Golden Globe for her role of Princess Diana on the 4th season of The Crown. Corrin came out as non-binary in 2021. Deadpool and Wolverine will be in theaters July 26th.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up trans rights. New study by the Williams Institute says 90% of trans teens live in states with anti-trans laws. A recent report by the Williams Institute reveals that over 90% of transgender teens aged 13 to 17 reside in states with anti-transgender laws. These laws target gender-affirming care, sports participation, restroom use, and pronoun affirmation. Additionally, the study revealed that approximately 85% of transgender teens in the South and 40% in the Midwest reside in states with at least one anti-transgender law. Against such a grim backdrop, the final adjustments to Title IX by the Biden administration hold great importance. This law will bolster protections for transgender students against sex-based discrimination. It will be effective from early August. Louisiana's education system has advised their school districts to ignore the new federal guidelines. That is today's news. for the LGBTQ plus community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ plus evening news show.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Are you, like most of America, part of our very large television audience, watching this live LGBTQ plus news broadcast right now on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and Amazon Fire TV?
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ plus digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ plus stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of HOTspots magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, FayWhat, and on behalf of these LGBTQ plus reporters, the incredible anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Bonnie Builder, Cindy Brown, TriniDaddy, Gregg Shapiro, and me. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. And to our LGBTQ plus world, we wish you good night.